Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. Tonight's episode we're going to be talking about music and the Jehovah's Witnesses. I got a quick little story and we'll just discuss the two, how they mesh together a little bit. It's coming up. Stay right there. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for watching. Let me start by saying I'm sorry that I haven't made anything in a while. I was feeling a little sick. I was a little down, and I didn't want to put my sick mug up on the camera and you guys see like, wow, that's what he looks like when he looks like shit. So I didn't do that. But anyways, quick little background about my growing up. I was born into the Jehovah's Witness organization, and we were a very musical family. So my dad was always in a band and really good guitar player and singer, and I also play guitar, not anywhere near as good as he does, but I still play. And growing up, it was Jehovah's Witness was a huge part of our lives, and so was music. So on the weekends we would always have family get-togethers, and on these family get-togethers we would usually spend it having the Nintendo on and the kids playing that while the adults talked, and my dad would play songs, and so would my aunts and grandpa, so they would pass around the acoustic guitar and we would all just kind of sing. And sometimes we would sing without even an instrument, and they would make us kids sing like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star and Happy Hippopotamus and crap like that. But I loved my childhood as far as that goes. The family get-togethers was fantastic, and family unity was fantastic, and part of that was music, a big part of that. My dad wanted to attribute all of that, most of that at least, to the witness, to Jehovah, and saying that he was bringing the family together for those events and blah blah blah. But really it was just good old-fashioned being close with your family and having good solid relationships and having those standards to where that's what you wanted to do with your time, you know. Anyways, my point, or the story I have today, first off, let me just say, if you hated doing the singing in the Kingdom Hall, raise your hand. That shit was torture. No, it was not a choir, okay? These people could not sing, and I was one of those kids that tried to get by without actually singing, so I'd have my head down, and I would be like, getting a text. But anyways, I would not actually sing until sometimes my dad would give me a nudge and I'll pick it up just a little bit. Okay, I'll get back with you. Sorry about that. Busy guy, I'm so popular. So popular. So many friends. The songs that they would have you sing were just awful, and listening to it was awful. But some people found it to be uplifting or what have you. So here's my story. One night in the Kingdom Hall, younger days, right? You know how you're a kid and you kind of just creep into people's conversations and you hope that the adults don't notice you right away so they don't shoo you away or anything like that. So I go up and I'm listening to, it's my dad, this guy named Bob, and Brother Bob, and his wife, and I think my mom came up later. So they started talking about music, and his wife asked my dad, you know, well, what kind of music do you like? And my dad started going on and on about, you know, Queen and a bunch of cool old rock bands and everything, right? And then she started laughing and was like, yeah, he was a drummer. Bob the drummer. Brother Bob the drummer. And she said, oh, he's always listening to like, take me down to a paradise city where the grass is green and the girls are pretty. He would like Guns N' Roses. And then I remember they started talking a little quieter because they were scared of like they would never admit being scared, but what it had to be, they were scared of like the judgment of like, because Guns N' Roses is, you know, rock band, you got the skull, the roses, the guns on all their merchandise and their whole branding, you know, and it's not a happy-go-lucky band, and they just kind of got quiet, and they kept talking, but it was almost like you ever watch like people doing a drug deal? Like if you're driving by them on the street and they're like, hey, bring it in, let's just be quiet and cool about this. You know, and they're just talking about music, but that just goes to show how like influential and up your butt the organization is when you're in, and that was the late 80s. For you younger kids watching this, like, yeah, 80s. I was born in the very turn of the 80s, so yeah, that gives you an idea of my age. I'm not really an exjw kid. Not really an exjw kid. I'm an exjw old man. But it was just a funny scenario looking back at it, and I don't know why I remember that. It's probably because I remember going over there one time and they were downstairs jamming, and I just had to hang out upstairs because it was too loud to blow out my eardrums, man, because they were rocking so hard, man. They were rocking hard. Yeah, one of my songs coming up, I was thinking about maybe doing an acoustic song too. If you guys are interested in that, leave a comment below. And I want to know if you guys have any funny music stories to have to do while you were in the Witnesses, or if you still are in the Witnesses. Whether somebody that couldn't sing good, that everybody talked about behind their backs, because you know that happened. Music that you like, tell me about your musical taste. I have a huge spectrum of musical taste. I like everything from, I even listen to some Maria Callas, some opera, to 80s and 90s rap, to, no, not nearly as much as I like rock, because I was in the grunge era with Nirvana, Smashing Pumpkins, Weezer, Alice in Chains, and then later came on to my favorite band, the Deftones. The Deftones, love them. If you haven't heard them before, they're heavy, but they also got some heavy softness to them on the newer stuff. So big spectrum there. Shout out. I've seen them 8 times in concert. Obsessed much? No! But then actually, as an adult, looking back to the 80s, I actually enjoy a ton of 80s stuff now, lately. That's kind of my go-to, along with new indie type music, 21 Pilots, and a bunch of stuff. Too much to list. But anyways, I got a huge spectrum. So comment below on what you guys like to listen to, because I'm curious. I like to get to know you guys, and I'm anxious to get the stories from you guys. Man, how uptight is the Witnesses to where you have to worry about how loud you're talking about music that you enjoy, because it was worldly. That was my point. The Guns N' Roses whole thing was worldly, and that's kind of what his wife was hinting at, but they knew it, but they ignored it, because everybody's got levels in the game, you know. So many people go into different levels in that organization onion, you know what I mean? So yeah, most people do a little bit on the side, like my buddy Jay the comedian says. YouTube, check him out. He's always talking about you know, people doing the double life, you know, and that's kind of like a more toned down version of that. You know, people are still enjoying what they want to enjoy. They just don't want to talk about it. But anyways, can't wait to read these comments. It's gonna be awesome. And thank you so much for watching, everybody, and take care of yourself.